Welcome to Practical Business Technology, where we keep you in the know about technology's impact on business. Today's show is sponsored by the Maricopa County Bar Association, and our host is Dave Kinsey, author and owner of Total Networks. Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Dave.
And today we're going to talk about Dave's favorite topic, cryptocurrency, and specifically the FTX collapse.
I'm shocked.
So, for those of you listening that are not aware, Dave Kinsey is the author of a book called The Blockchain Code that is about the history of cryptocurrency. And
At the risk of being immodest, I think it is the only book that's out there that is critical about cryptocurrency and blockchain and all that. Not that people aren't critical of cryptocurrency and blockchain. I think most people are. But it takes maybe a kind of either a crazy person or a strange situation for someone to actually that is against it to actually write a book about it. And there's a whole reason. Actually, if you look at the foreword of the book, it explains how it came to be. Whatever. I never intended to write a book about cryptocurrency and blockchain.
But so
anyway.
Your book is about being cautious about using blockchain or cryptocurrency as a solution for things.
Correct.
So
I am not at all surprised that the FTX Exchange is going to bankruptcy, that there's a scandal of these billions of dollars that are missing and all that stuff.
So let's slow down here
I
a bit.
am not at all surprised.
Let's slow down. What is FTX?
FTX is it still is. I was going to say was, but it still is because it's going through bankruptcy. It still exists as an entity. It is a cryptocurrency exchange.
Okay. So is that like a bank? Are they like a bank for cryptocurrency?
Well, it's an exchange. So I've heard people say, there are, when I hear cryptocurrency bank, there actually are cryptocurrency banks. This is an exchange. I don't even really truly know what a cryptocurrency bank is.
What is an exchange?
Okay. An exchange is where you exchange. I give you US dollars and you give me.
So I give FTX US dollars and they give me back cryptocurrency.
They say that you have yes, they can actually give you cryptocurrency, or they can just say you have cryptocurrency regardless, but yes.
Is this for Bitcoin or is it other cryptocurrencies also?
It can be a lot of different cryptocurrencies.
Okay. Is FTX different from Coinbase?
Coinbase is I would say is the most reputable exchange that is out there.
Okay, so you can go to Coinbase and give them US dollars and exchange it for cryptocurrency.
Correct.
Similarly to what FTX does or was doing.
Correct.
So how are FTX and Coinbase different or similar?
Oh, okay. FTX, first of all, FTX is not based in the United States.
And Coinbase
is.
Okay.
Coinbase is.
So that's one difference.
Yeah. FTX is based out of the Bahamas, and Coinbase is based in the United States. So that's one difference.
Okay.
At least looking at it at its peak, FTX was supposedly the third largest cryptocurrency exchange. The largest, I believe, would be Coinbase.
So can I get Dogecoin? From these?
Well, okay. From once again, nobody should be worried. Nobody is. I don't think anybody's going to FTX at the moment and saying, "Oh, let me please give you more.
Okay.
Let me give you while you're going through all this scandal and this bankruptcy. Let me give you some of my
So what's the
US
scandal
dollars."
all about?
Okay, well, so. There is no longer, there's this gentleman, Sam Bankman-Fried, who was the CEO until, fairly recently. But there are all sorts of things around this about, like, missing, few $1 billion worth of money here and there where they don't know where it is, and controls issues. And
well, if I remember your book correctly, Dave,
yes,
you talked about in your book that the whole idea behind cryptocurrency is that it's untraceable. So how would anyone know where the money is?
To say untraceable is a term I use. It's really more anonymous is the idea, or it's you can be anonymous.
So that makes it kind of hard to manage.
Yes. Once again, I wrote a whole book on this here, so I'm trying to boil this down into bite-sized information that can be understood. So the whole premise of Bitcoin, and we'll say, and then other cryptocurrencies are more or less kind of a copy of Bitcoin with different tweaks to it. But the idea is that it's a currency that exists where nobody is the authority, okay? When you have a bank, when you have banks are authorities. The idea behind Bitcoin is it's supposed to be what's called peer-to-peer. So you can have just like Bitcoin that you have a key to unlock these Bitcoin, in your Bitcoin wallet, and I send money out to somebody else, and I don't have to rely on a bank or any kind of trusted. It's supposedly you don't need to trust anybody, but trust is a funny thing. You tend to from a practical standpoint, there's always some sort of implied trust somewhere. Whether.
So is that where there's a breakdown here with FTX? Is the trust, or so how did FTX come to be? I mean, Sam had this idea that he wanted to do this and be like another Coinbase.
Yeah, and wanted to offer more features and more functionality and whatnot, and have
Was this the one we heard about on the Super Bowl last year?
They had Super Bowl ads, absolutely. And you had Larry David, was on there. We're kind of talking about, it's not going to be anything, right? I don't think so, and I'm never wrong. And yeah, sure enough, Larry David was right. If you look at the commercials. But yeah, I mean, there was the Super Bowl ads. There is still an arena called FTX Arena. It's where the Miami Heat play. There are all sorts of people involved in this. I think they're going to have a new sponsor.
So how did this collapse happen?
It happened fairly recently, and it happened where, they basically announced that they weren't going to be able to give people money. So
they basically said, we don't have any more.
Yeah, we can't. We aren't going to be able to honor your the money here and file for bankruptcy.
Let's just pretend someone had money, cryptocurrency that they obtained through Coinbase, not FTX.
Yes.
Does this affect the value of that person's cryptocurrency in another exchange?
Okay. There's a whole complicated question of how is the price of cryptocurrency set. And in my book, I talk about how it is... Okay, everything about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, it's not what it seems. Okay, and so it makes it, if you look at it, you see all these exchanges and it seems like it's a free market, and there are market forces at play. There are, anytime you have money, involved and whatnot, there is always some market forces involved in this. But fundamentally, as I describe in my book, the prices of cryptocurrencies are manipulated, and it's hard to know, really what is the value of a cryptocurrency is set by what you believe it's worth and what you see it being reported to largely by exchanges like FTX, like Coinbase. You're going to probably trust what Coinbase tells you a lot more than FTX now. So Coinbase purports to say that money changed hands at such and such a rate for Bitcoin, And, so you believe it, and that's the value it has. So, yeah.
So
this is a complicated topic. So, I mean, obviously...
So if you had used FTX...
Yes.
Are you just out your money?
Probably.
Okay.
So I read something in there where I think FTX Japan or whatever was trying to honor some things or whatnot. It's in bankruptcy right now. The money there's some money theoretically there in.
So what's going to happen to Sam Bankman-Fried?
It's a good question. Will he be extradited to the United States and go to prison? Maybe. Will he? Will he not be?
Because there's really no regulations on this, are there?
Well, there are laws on fraud, but in terms of cryptocurrencies themselves, there's talk about. People talk forever about we need to regulate, regulate, and then there's some people that'll be like, this thing is just not regulatable. And that's where more I'm at. I mean, it's designed really not to be regulatable. The whole idea of this is that this is supposed to exist outside of the concept of governments and laws and all that. Now, think something like an exchange where you're trading, say, U.S. dollars for, or some other currency for that. It's going to be governed by laws because it's a business and it's transacting there. Your ability to actually audit and regulate, you may be able to audit and regulate an exchange within a certain degree. But the challenge I have is the fundamental cryptocurrencies themselves they're dealing with are designed to allow you to be anonymous. I mean, they're technically pseudonymous, is what they're calling. You have a pseudonym.
And as a technology provider, where do we run into cryptocurrency?
Ransomware. So,
I've always thought cryptocurrency was designed for ransomware.
Well, that's a real practical use case for it, because how do you extort money from somebody? In this case, where you encrypt their data and hide their data, where you're going to now perform a business transaction. The value I'm going to provide to you is this data that I stole from you, by hiding it and encrypting it with the key. Or I committed a crime. I will pay you. Or I'm sorry, you will pay me money, and I will give you the key to unlock it. Ransomware criminals don't take American Express. Right? Or they don't take Visa or MasterCard. Why? Because the minute you start doing those transactions, the feds or Interpol or wherever, they're probably overseas somewhere, they're going to find you and they're going to arrest you and put you in jail.
And are there still ransomware happening these days?
Absolutely.
Asking for cryptocurrency? I mean, that's still a thing. Right?
Absolutely. It is in an industry that would be hard to imagine how it even exists without cryptocurrency. Because how do you extort somebody and get paid at scale? You can extort money and say, look, you can't call the cops and you have to give me a bag of money.
We have to meet on the corner.
We have to, no, you're not going to meet. You're going to do a drop of this money, in a big sack or something like that, and I'm going to redirect you to this different phone. It used to be pay phones, right? Where you'd say, go to this pay phone and I'll tell you where to go next. You see that. Okay. You can do that, right? That is a way to extort money in theory and make it hard for the cops to find you. But if you're trying to do this as an actual scalable business, that's not practical. But you can have a scalable business if you have a way to do transactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Besides ransomware, is there any reason the average American would want to use cryptocurrency? Like, why is this so popular?
Well, if you're trying to... let's see. I'm not sure what the situation's like going on in, say, Ukraine with things blowing up and whatnot. Where you may not have reliable
heard that you
banks.
could donate cryptocurrency.
You can donate cryptocurrency to help there, right? And you may not have, or say you want to support a people inside Russia working against Putin, maybe to overthrow him. Good luck there, right? Because you have this thing here. But you
don't want them to know who it is.
But if you want to find a way to get money where you don't want that government to be able to do it, or in China or somewhere like that, those are absolutely legit reasons, where one might use cryptocurrency, and that would be a very effective, potential way to do that.
Now, given this recent collapse,
yeah,
it sounds to me like probably not a very good investment. Like, is this a way to make? I mean, some people have made money with it, right? Because you just make money out of. I have
no strong opinion on this because I know how the price of cryptocurrency is manipulated, but yet, and it will continue to be manipulated. And the people that own Bitcoin, for instance, the people that have the big wealth have a lot of incentive to have the price go up. So there are ways where basically you can buy and sell from yourself anonymously or whatnot. If you're doing it legitimately, if you're working with Coinbase, let's assume that Coinbase is actually reporting what really happens or what they believe is really happening.
Okay.
So even there are ways to manipulate Coinbase, which I'll call it probably the most legitimate exchange of cryptocurrency out there. There are ways to do it there. If you have something like an FTX or other stuff over there, who even knows what the hell they're reporting? How do you have confidence in a cryptocurrency exchange? They're incented to have the price of the cryptocurrency go up. At any rate, I wrote a whole lot about this topic. There are market forces at play. This is not entirely all made up in terms of prices and stuff like that. It just can be massively manipulated, mostly made up. So, at any rate. So
I don't know. Did we answer what does the collapse of the FTX exchange mean? What does it mean?
It means, okay, so let's break this down. Okay, if you are trying to make money on cryptocurrency, you absolutely may. Okay, it's been done before. It will probably happen again. I have no idea. Bitcoin could go to nearly zero overnight, or it can go up to like $2 million a coin. Right now, it's like 16,000 or something like that on Bitcoin. So if it goes up to $2 million a coin and you have some, hallelujah, great, good luck to you and everything, great. Any money that you have in an exchange is at risk. Your money is going to be less at risk, probably, at a place like Coinbase. But even at Coinbase, any money that you have with it can go to zero. If you really want to protect, like say I'm going to use Bitcoin as an example just because there's so many cryptocurrencies out there, but say you have all this money in Bitcoin, the safest way would be to transfer it to your own wallet that you have under your own control, where the numbers and theoretically you're the only one that knows those codes. You can do that and not keep the money on Coinbase. You may also lose. I'm not advising that you absolutely do this because you may screw it up and lose your money by transferring it to your private wallet. Your money may be safest on Coinbase for the average user. It's complicated. I wrote a book to try to explain it.
It's still complicated.
It's still complicated if you try to read the book. But I wrote the book so that my mom could understand it and my mom could actually, reasonably understand it. At any rate, I guess in summary, be careful about doing anything with cryptocurrency. Do not put your life savings into cryptocurrency. That I can absolutely tell you here.
Don't plan on retiring with it?
From a moral standpoint, I have such a hard time with cryptocurrency because the one practical use I see for it is, extortion and crime and everything like that.
It causes us a lot of extra work.
Exactly. It's just, I see potential upside to it, but I see a lot more downside. So,
all right, well, we always know we can get Dave animated if we talk about cryptocurrency. Are there any closing remarks?
If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer them. I also wrote a book. Be careful out there.
Yeah, and good luck.
And good luck. Thanks.